Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for a DC review, and in this DC review I'll be covering the Summer of Superman Special Issue 1, which is something I'm really looking forward to covering today, as it has some really great images by Jorge Jimenez. And not only that, you might also want to check out the Jorge Jimenez Kickstarter. Well, actually, I think by the time this video goes up, his Kickstarter might have ended, but you still might be able to fund it in some way, shape, or form if you're still interested in it. So let's move into the main thing, and that is the area of the cover. Does this cover in any way, shape, or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough, it does, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I want to point out that I have decided to get a hold of a variant of this particular cover by Jorge Jimenez. I was wanting to get one with Crypto and maybe one with the Super Twins, which should actually be adopted out of the Superman family to someone else. Like, he really doesn't need them. He should be working on keeping his own family in order instead of someone else's. But let's move into the next thing, and that is the area of the internal art around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we start off with the area of chapter 1, and we get to see a very young, I was going to say a John Kent, but it's not John Kent, it's a Clark Kent with Lana Lang. And of course, with the events that are taking place here, we get a character known as Valadius, interrupting with some of the events that are taking place with this Clark Kent in this particular time. This is probably one of the best shots that I like, one of my first favorite shots within this story, as we do see a young Clark Kent in his Superman gear, and he looks absolutely fantastic. And of course, we have one of the next favorite characters being Crypto. As the fight continues, we do get to see one of our favorites show up in something to which he gets a bit of a view in relation to the area of his future. And to those who do take note as to the differences between the Dan Jurgens, Peter J. Tomasi, John Kent, and also the Brian Michael Bendis, Tom Taylor, John Kent, I can tell you for a fact that this one actually looks like it's the original Dan Jurgens, Peter J. Tomasi, John Kent, because if it's one thing that I have noticed, especially between the differences, is that the John Kent of Bendis and Taylor, and with that present timeline, he's just too clean cut. In other words, no tears, no whatever, it's just too perfect. In other words, ultimate or ultra Gary Stew. But with the Jurgens Tomasi one, he ain't no Gary Stew. As we slowly move into chapter 2, we finally come across another fight against Valadius. Or Valadius. And then we get quite a number of fights take place within each chapter, as well as certain events that take place too, including Alana Lang marrying John Henry Irons, which I think was actually quite a good way to sort of like bring that into the story. And we get to see more of it here. Of course, we get to see like some of the events and the people who are there. There's even Jimmy Olsen with his own son there. And no, he's not race swapped. Then we move towards the end, around the area of the epilogue, plus what has actually happened with Booster Gold. Alright, for the internal art, I give it an 8 out of 10 as I really enjoyed it all the way through. Next is the area of the story. Now, I chose to put this in just in case it might have included it, and sure enough it did, and that is a comic book reference to Justice League Unlimited, so we have a slight connection to Justice League Unlimited. Next is the area of time, to which we have years ago to today, which takes place within the story. The location, we see Smallville as well as the Kent farm. We don't actually get to see a lot of Metropolis within the story, which is quite surprising for, especially for a Superman story, which makes one wonder, are they going to be trying to balance things out between Smallville and Metropolis, and also the Fortress of Solitude? So bringing sort of like those three things back into the Superman sphere. Next is the cast of characters, consisting of Clark Kent Superman, Lois Lane, Lana Lang, Crypto, Lois Lane. We also had John Samuel Kent. Now, if you ever see a John Kent, a young John Kent with the tears, that is quite likely John Samuel Kent, not John Kent, Bendis, Taylor, whatever. Of course, we had John Henry Irons. We had the villain of Valadius. We had Jimmy Olsen, plus his son, Mr. Terrific. We had Lobo, Zod, and last but not least, Booster Gold. For my overall story rating, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colorful and have yourself an awesome day.